As moonboys across the globe hold their breath and clench their cheeks in anticipation of the alt season that hasn't come, baby bulls and boneless bulls alike are edging quite literally closer and closer to a pump so big, so downright disgustingly, monstrously big, that you'll be shocked to the bone when it comes. And let's just say, it's about to come. So if the thought of the pump that's about to come keeps your blood flowing to all the right places, hit that like and subscribe, get signed up with Femex or BITUNIX below if you want to buy Bitcoin, altcoins, or trade. And without any further ado, let's absolutely, completely, and definitively dump into the price of Bitcoin. First off, we saw this guy, Senator Bob Menendez, who fought against El Salvador adopting Bitcoin. Well, this guy was just sentenced to 11 years in prison for taking bribes in gold and cash. It's always the people that are most obviously the most corrupt that are anti-Bitcoin. Just like Senator Elizabeth Warren was paid millions of dollars by banks. She's been one of the most anti-Bitcoin senators in history for one very easy to understand reason. She is paid by the banks to have an opinion. As well, we take a look here. This cycle, Bitcoin is leaving crypto in the dust. We see that Bitcoin in orange or yellow, actually it kind of looks like it's in gold, ironically enough, is just really leaving crypto, the rest of crypto, in the dust. You can see in black right here is the rest of the cryptocurrency market. You can see how closely tied price action was over the last pretty much decade. And something fundamentally different is happening this time. Fundamentally, it's probably because the Bitcoin spot ETFs are just gobbling up Bitcoin like we've never seen before. But really, and I want to get into other data in this video as well about how bad, we all know it. I mean, it's very obvious, but the sentiment is disgusting. The sentiment is so bad. People are like losing their bananas over how badly, and I'm actually going to be spending a lot of this video talking about altcoins, and looking at charts of altcoins. But yes, people are feeling the pain. If you're not invested in Bitcoin, but you're invested in all altcoins, how do I say this as simply as possible? It has been a rough, basically 2 years. It's been pretty rough if you don't have any Bitcoin and you've just watched Bitcoin go up and up and up. But I do believe that that's about to change. I do firmly believe that. And as I just said, sentiment is horrible. Crypto sentiment is just disgustingly bad, but that is quite honestly exactly what happens before altcoins start moving. In terms of sentiment, I mean, we can look at a million metrics, but in terms of sentiment alone, to me is maybe the biggest single most, on a long time frame, if you're going like month by month, is the single most reliable indicator of Bitcoin and crypto tops and how much time we have left. And I am just astonished with how bad crypto sentiment is and has been. This is not a new thing. It has been really bad for like the past 2 years. And I just think that that is going to lend itself to a very explosive move, a very violent, big, very fast move when it happens. And I want to present some evidence of when I think it's going to happen. We also see this, a total of 14 US states have introduced the Bitcoin bill so far. You can see there's legislation on all of these 14 states for Bitcoin strategic reserves. Things are heating up big time. We see that the ECB president and convicted criminal, Christine Lagarde, says she's confident the EU will not hold Bitcoin as reserves. I did see a comment, and I think it's very true. The fact that this person who hates Bitcoin, the fact that this person is actually saying the word Bitcoin is kind of telling you where we are. It's basically like, do you guys know like Harry Potter and the wizard, Harry Potter and the orange guy, and then the girl, the little squadron of the 3 little wizards? Harry Potter and all of his gang, they don't, for many of the movies, they don't say Voldemort, right? Because it's like the name you can't really speak. That's how they think of Bitcoin. They basically don't even want to say the word Bitcoin. So the fact that they're answering questions and talking and actually discussing and saying the word Bitcoin, and I promise you, they do not want to be talking about it. But that kind of just shows where we're at. They're being forced to, because it's such a prominent topic, and it's becoming even, slowly, I think these people are starting to realize it is going to be a necessary thing to have a reserve asset. It's going to be a necessary monetary tool for the entire planet. We also see that Bitcoin has soared past $105,000 in just the last, well, it was mainly yesterday, but also today, following the Fed Reserve's decision to keep interest rates steady, with the Fed Chair Jerome Powell indicating that banks can serve crypto clients provided that they manage their risks effectively. Banks are perfectly able to serve crypto customers as long as they can understand and service their risks, he said. So this is the market actually liked this yesterday because he's mentioning Bitcoin. He's, especially when people in the Fed come out and say that Bitcoin is not an enemy of the US dollar, but can actually be used to strengthen the US dollar. I think some people are starting to get the hint, and they're starting to understand, and they're starting to recognize it. Again, a lot of these people that I'm mentioning here, they don't want to be talking about Bitcoin, but they have no choice. They have to be talking about it because it's becoming a very necessary thing to be talking about. We see as well, take a look at some altcoin data. Zeus on CryptoX says that he's not a big fan of fractals, but this one gives him chills. And this is back in 2020, and 2025 is where we are now. Honestly, yes, a little bit later than expected. But I don't know if you guys, I don't know how many of you watching were around in the last, or at least like maybe the last cycle or the last two cycles. Before altcoins started doing well, people thought alts would never pump again. That it's a very common thing in these 4-year cycles to think something is just dead and never going to return and it is an awful investment. And then people really, really love investing in altcoins once the altcoins have surpassed their all-time highs and they're doubling every week, right? People love to buy altcoins at the tops. And we're not at the tops whatsoever. In fact, so many of these altcoins haven't even hit new all-time highs yet. And the only people that have bought them are the people that have been buying them for the past 4 years. The same people. There's not new people really just going balls in on altcoins right now because, well, there's no euphoria. People are very pessimistic on the space. And that just makes me completely go from bull mode to omega bull mode. We also see that an insane bear trap alongside some of the worst market sentiment I've ever seen, according to Owen on X. Consensus will shift from no alt season ever again to I sold way too early. And I think that's going to be changing very soon. This is the entire cryptocurrency market cap, excluding the top 10 cryptos. So yeah, altcoins are just getting completely banged. When you start seeing people piling in and your friends texting you like, oh my gosh, do you see this coin and this coin and this coin? Well, that's not when you want to buy in. You want to buy in when everybody hates it. And let's be honest, it's been a solid 2 years of altcoins just doing horrible, as I keep saying. We also see that gold in the SPX chart looks to be bottoming, as well as the Bitcoin Nvidia chart, as well as we see Bitcoin and gold flipping 2021 all-time highs to support. And overall, a lot of pairs for Bitcoin look good here. And I'm going to jump into Bitcoin specifically in a second, but yeah, it just looks very good. I want to talk about altcoins again, but the Bitcoin balance price has been a reliable tool in helping identify bear market bottoms. Current balance top target is right around 170K roughly. Keep calm, and yeah, basically I'm not seeing any top signals really at all. And Bitcoin retail investment is at a 3-year low. I firmly believe this is due to unit bias. People see $100,000 plus Bitcoin and immediately think it's too expensive. Look at this chart. This is exactly what I'm talking about here. It's the retail investor volume, $0 to $10,000 by USD. So like retail, like not huge numbers. And this is the 30-day change, and sentiment is awful. It is the worst it's been in 3 years. That's no surprise to me. Sentiment is objectively very, very bad. Now, looking at, this is the entire altcoin market. You can see that, or the entire crypto market minus Bitcoin. But yeah, we're just right on the edge there of getting ready to break those all-time highs. Whether it does happen in the next few days or a couple weeks, I firmly believe it is going to be a very explosive, very quick move. And I personally believe a lot of people that have been waiting these past 2 years are somehow going to miss it. If you've spent the last 2 years, 3 years investing in altcoins and you just give up finally, and you're like, I can't do this anymore, they're never going to go up, very likely that's exactly when they're going to start pumping. And usually what needs to happen for that to happen? Well, usually a lot of sideways, a lot of fake outs, quick wicks, dumps, basically the exact situation we're in now in terms of the altcoin sentiment and charts. People are losing faith. And that's why the most profitable people in cryptocurrency are people that buy it and then literally just forget that they have it. And then they check back a couple years later, or depending on where we are in a cycle, maybe a couple months later, whatever, they check back and realize like, oh wait, I bought some of this and it's up way higher than they were expecting. And the reason those are the most profitable people is because they don't let their emotions get involved, because they can't let their emotions get involved if they completely forget about it. They don't get worried about what it's doing day by day by day. And if they just literally buy some and chill out and leave, those are the most profitable people in this space. Also, we see that Bitcoin specifically has been trading within this very tight range with no daily closes above 106,000 US dollars and no daily closes below about 92,000 US dollars. So we're in this roughly a little over $10,000 range. We've been in it ever since we got above it back on November 19th. So about the past 70 or so days. A solid over 2-month consolidation. We have the bottom of this channel being exactly at $92,000 per coin. We have this 100-day moving average exactly at $92,000 per coin. So just confluent with this, both in that same area right here. I think this is insane support. I think from here on out, the best chance that you can long Bitcoin is if it would come back down to the mid 90s would be the best entry. I don't think we're going to get that type of pullback, but if we did, that's where like personally I think the best long position for the rest of this bull market would be. And overall, yeah, I mean, US dollar's been on a bit of a downturn since January 13th, so the past like a little over 2 weeks. And overall, everything looks great. As I just tried to illustrate here, we're just trading sideways really. And if you wake up one day and you see something like this, oh, maybe not that big, although maybe that big, more realistically something like this on a daily chart, I don't know. That's exactly what I'm looking for over the next couple of weeks. It could, again, that's the thing. Nobody can predict this. It could happen tomorrow. It could happen a couple of weeks from now. I just think that's the most likely next move is something like that. And as I just said, if it's the opposite and we see something like this, that honestly makes me even more bullish in terms of at least trade setups. That's a very bullish trade setup in my opinion. Entering brand new long positions, right, basically at all-time highs, which is where we are right now, can be very profitable if we have a breakout. But realistically, if you want to have a longer term long position, you tend to want to enter these long positions when people get really scared and people are seeing red across the board and we're testing the bottom of a range or something. But either way, I'm looking at this very I'm looking at this and salivating. Okay. Absolute massive long opportunity. And then here, well, I have all my money invested anyway. So if we go up, then that's fantastic. And I become even more bullish. But get signed up to Femex or BITUNIX below if you want my Bitcoin, altcoins, or trade. Without further ado.